today's bumper episode, we talk about the Astro Mini Arcade coming to the US.
We take a look at Pipehacker and new ways to play retro games online with your friends.
Find out if the Game Boy Advance is the ultimate way in which to watch blockbuster movies.
And could Sony be closing their legacy PlayStation stores? Welcome to episode 12 of the Retro Gaming Dads podcast, the weekly podcast for everything retro and retro inspired. My name is Barry, and I'm joined virtually by the miracle of the information superhighway by Phil and Anthony.
Hello there.
Hello. So, what have you guys been up to this week?
Trying to finish off Zelda. Ready for next week, at least for me.
Yep. Trying to do the final push, get Zelda finished before we talk about it, as you say.
I mean, I've been playing a bit of Zelda. Not as much as I probably should.
A bit of Zelda. We know
No.
You've gone sad and stopped playing for a bit.
Well, I have picked it back up and I have got back into that temple. I do need to get further though.
Finally
yeah,
done something.
you got plenty more temples after that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
They get
I've been
harder.
playing a lot of co-op games with my son again. He's we're going through the Game Pass library on all co-op games that he can play. So I've been slowly going through that with him in a minute. It's one of those where you share the same screen, and so I'm trying to progress ahead, and he's like struggling behind, and I'm like, please come with me, and he doesn't.
At least he's not nicked the door and off with it.
Oh, split screen gaming. The wonders of cheating by looking at other people's screens.
Absolutely.
Phil
Fight
was a
each other.
master at it as a kid. He'd kind of like go cross-eyed. One eye was looking at his screen, the other one would be off center looking at my screen. Little cheat.
You'd look and be like, Phil, you freak.
Yeah, something like that. I've got to admit, I've started that Octopath Traveler with it being on Game Pass.
Yeah, I just downloaded that and just done the intro part with the merchant I started with this time on the Xbox.
I started off with the Cleric.
I've not started it, but you never know. One day it might, but
Oh, in all fairness, I've only had 30 minutes go on it after work, so not really got
Yeah,
that far into it.
I've played a little bit of it. I've recruited a couple of extra people.
You guys watched Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Yes.
yes.
Yes, I have.
Oh,
Think it's
I'm
good?
ready for this.
Yeah.
Next episode out, obviously we're recording on Thursday. Next episode out is tomorrow for us.
Yeah. Unlike WandaVision, it's a lot more cinematic, isn't it?
Yeah, I felt it was a lot more cinematic.
The first episode at the beginning definitely feels like a movie.
Oh, 100%. And obviously it was bound to be, but it's a lot more, or feels a lot more action-packed than WandaVision.
Watching WandaVision felt like a TV show.
Yes.
It kind of had the TV intro, everything felt very TV-y. Falcon and the Winter Soldier was a bit weird in that, as you say, it felt very cinematic. You're watching it and you're thinking, it's like watching a film. And
It's like a movie that they've just cut up and they're drip feeding you over the next 6 weeks.
It's like, here's a little bit. Here's a little taster.
Good way of
And then
putting it.
you got to the end and saw the uproar that's come from that.
Hang on.
Flipping it.
Spoilers.
I'll bleep that out, but spoilers
Oh.
for people.
Sorry.
Right, well, while we're talking about drip feeding movies to you at home, have you seen someone has put Tenet on the Game Boy Advance?
I mean, I know why. It's the same reason why people do it with other things, but could you really? I mean, tiny screen. How many cartridges is it on?
It's actually across 5 cartridges, isn't it?
Yeah, and not only is it across 5 cartridges, he's made his own custom cover for each and every cartridge.
Yes. And that is a lot of time and effort put into it. Like Phil said, we know why they do it, because they think, let's have some fun. But
See, I thought it was just to annoy Christopher Nolan.
yes, that is possibly one, because obviously didn't he say he only wanted it being in IMAX or something?
Yeah, that you should watch the movie in IMAX to get the full experience, not 192 by 128 resolution at 6 frames per second on the Game Boy Advance.
Do you think Christopher Nolan knows about it yet, or
I'm pretty certain he's fuming. He's probably like getting ready to do a hit on this
trying
guy.
to hunt the guy down.
Yeah, so this is being done by a YouTuber called Bob Wolf. Quite a good YouTube channel if you've not seen it.
I mean, it's one thing saying about the picture quality. What about the audio on those tinny speakers?
And the frame rate.
Sorry, tinny speakers.
Sorry, speaker.
That's better.
But also, we can't forget that the frame rate is 6 FPS.
In all fairness, that's 5 frames per second higher than I expected.
That's true, but still.
But this isn't a new thing because I actually own a TV show on a Game Boy cartridge.
Yes, but that was made to be on the Game Boy cartridge. This wasn't.
Well, it is made on it now.
Well, yeah. We had the TV tuner as well.
Well, yeah, that obviously wasn't on a cartridge, but they sold. I have Sonic X on a Game Boy cartridge, like official. They sold it. I'm sure they sold. Well, I'm not sure. I know they sold other TV shows. I think Shrek was a movie that was on it. Obviously Sonic X that I've got.
Don't forget the PSP.
PSP was different though because
Yeah.
that did use optical media, which I think held about
Yes.
a gig and a half. These are cartridges that I think 64 meg was about as high as they
You
went.
had quite a lot of movies come out on the PSP. You know, I can think of stuff off the top of my head, but it wasn't.
Well, Spider-Man,
Yeah.
that's the one that most people had.
So it's PSP
Yeah.
was kind of intended to have those sorts of movies on it, whereas the Game Boy Advanced, not really, especially Tenet, which is, it looks quite an impressive movie, and to then squash it down to 5 Game Boy Advance cartridges.
Just all I'm going to say is no one tell Todd Howard. Skyrim will
Well,
get
get
ported to it.
Skyrim over there.
Hey, why not? I mean, much like Doom, it's been on everything.
I don't know. This possibly could be the future of in-home entertainment. I'm expecting Disney Plus, Black Widow to be launched on this any second now. I'm just waiting for Nintendo to
Can you
drop it.
imagine?
Next
And you're-
Nintendo Direct. You can quote me on that one.
Can you imagine you going on public transport and someone sitting on a train or a bus watching a movie or Disney Plus on their Game Boy Advance?
Well, I'm not being funny. I've been playing a Game Boy, or well, actually, it was a Raspberry Pi in a Game Boy case on the bus, and people give you some weird looks like, "What is that
It's
guy doing?"
Probably more the fact that if they recognise it, they realise how old the thing potentially may be. Not obviously knowing it's a retro Pi device. Or if they're slightly younger, like say Anthony's age, they might be thinking, "What the heck is that ancient piece of technology?"
Hang on. You've now turned this around. It's often me insulting your age, and you're insulting my age today.
Yeah, those young whippersnappers, they don't know they're born. We used to only have 3 colours, and one of them was transparent.
Still, nobody's put it on an Apple yet.
An actual Apple, not an
Yeah.
Apple Mac. No, so what is it? Bad Apple?
Yeah.
Is that the demo? Yeah, so that's still got that on it. Moving on from future of in-home entertainment, have you heard about the Pi Packer?
Yes.
Yeah, I was looking into this one a bit. It's still quite light on information. The Kickstarter's not due until April 6th, though it looks like a cool little service, I guess. So it looks to be all browser-based. They are doing a console that you can connect as well, so you can connect your own games to it. Rumour is it's an N64 first that they're doing.
Yeah, so I believe it's not actually a console, it is just a interface to plug your own cartridges into your computer, is that right?
Information's light. Till the Kickstarter appears, I think information's going to be quite light. Though it's a multiplayer gaming service where a bunch of friends can connect and play multiplayer retro games within a video call, akin to say Zoom or something like that. It looks like a cool little
With the
service.
multiplayer, isn't it also that only one person needs to own the game, and he hosts the game, and other people can join the browser and join his game?
If you've got that console device, yes, but they are also going to be hosting games as well that you can play.
So
I did see they've got a selection of games on there. I must admit, I didn't really recognise many of them. There seems to be a Micro Machine style game, I noticed, where you're on foot instead of in vehicles.
It's probably going to be like shovelware and freeware stuff to keep it legal, which you can understand.
I do think they've got license for all those games.
Yeah, it is going to be stuff they've got licenses for, freeware, shovelware, etc. You certainly hope, anyway.
What are you on about? Are you implying this is Soldier Boy's next console endeavour?
Potentially, yeah. Why not? He's tried to rebrand a few other things.
Stop trying to sell stuff to Soldier Boy.
So here's the thing that I was concerned about, though, as a potential issue. If you've got multiple video feeds, that can be fairly bandwidth intensive depending on the way it's done. Could this affect the latency of how it
depends
plays?
on how the
Well, I don't think
host
it'll affect the
goes through, isn't it?
latency. Well, it depends. If it's peer to peer, then yeah, it would. So if, say, Anthony was hosting it, it's going to be absolute garbage with
Hey,
his internet connection.
True.
My internet at home is not that bad.
I would imagine it'd probably just send the feed somewhere to process and then send out. So it'd be, I would assume, more server based. Because if you go on a
Yeah.
Skype call or a Zoom call with 2 people or 20 people, it doesn't take 10 times the bandwidth for those 20 people as opposed to 2 people, does it?
No, but it buffers a lot, so you always have a very slight delay.
Nah, I think that's more because you're at the mercy of the person with the worst connection.
Potentially,
So
yeah.
again, we just won't play with Anthony until he sorts his internet out.
Yeah, that's the question. How will they deal with that to make sure that it's a nice, smooth playing experience along with?
I don't think they'll have to. Do you ever remember a service called OnLive? It was pretty much
Yeah.
the first cloud-based gaming service.
Yeah, didn't it get bought by the guys that got bought by Sony?
Oh, what they called? Genki or something, was it?
Yeah, it was something like that.
I don't know, to be honest. I don't know.
I've no idea what happened to them, but that was a service that looked cool.
On that, when you went to the title screen, you could literally see hundreds of feeds of people playing the game in real time.
So that was all connected.
Didn't matter whether you
can.
Yeah,
on your connection there. It weren't taking like orders of magnitudes more bandwidth to display all those feeds at once, because basically they were just going off to a server, and then the server just pushes out one 1080p picture to you. That's all it
True.
needs to do.
it's true, and this is what I'm saying. I'm hopeful they use the sort of technology that's not gonna cause issues. It's just a potential issue, I could say, is all.
Yeah, I don't think it'll be like having multiple individual feeds open. So whether or not you're playing with one person or 4 people, I don't think it's going to make
I
a
reckon that
difference.
they would have already pre-planned this, and I reckon that it will be more
You would have hoped
server-based.
so.
You'd hope so.
Yeah,
But this is the thing with Kickstarters.
it's early stages.
Exactly. It's not even started getting funding yet.
But that's not the same as hasn't started development.
No, it's not. Absolutely, it's not. It just means that the funding's not started. They've not opened the Kickstarter up, so people can't give them money yet.
Yeah.
That's April 6th.
April 6th, is it? So that's when
Yep.
the Kickstarter starts.
Yeah, and I reckon there'll be a lot more information available to potential backers as well.
And I believe so these adapters where you can plug your cartridges into your computer and play them online, I believe it's N64 is the first one they're working on.
I believe so.
And just to clarify, the idea is you can get, I don't know, Super Mario Kart 64, and I could have the physical game, chuck it into my adapter, plug to my computer, send you to an invite, and we could all play online using my cartridge.
Yeah.
That's the gist of it.
That sounds pretty cool. I must admit, personally, I'm not that excited for Nintendo 64, but chuck Mega Drive on there.
I say there'll be
Well,
more.
we've tested it before, haven't we? With Cyborg Justice, I think it was.
Yeah, was that using is it Parsec?
Not MAME, something like that.
Yeah, I think we used a service called Parsec, I think it's called.
I mean, it worked. I wouldn't say it was brilliant, but it worked.
So with these cartridge readers that you get to obviously attach to your PC and that, it sounds quite a bit like this console that you were looking to get before, Barry, that you couldn't get hold of.
The Polymega.
Not quite.
No, but it's a similar concept is what I mean.
Yeah, so it's just a cartridge reader. So the service is doing like all the emulation and that. It's not a full
Yeah.
system. But if it's running through your browser, then potentially you'd be able to use it on a host of different devices. You could have a low-powered Chromebook, you could have a Windows PC, Mac.
So I guess, what we've got to say here is watch this space. See what happens.
Yeah, it looks exciting. And, for April the 6th, it's only a couple of weeks away, so I'm sure we'll revisit this once the Kickstarter gets kickstarted.
Yeah, once we actually know a bit more about it.
Yeah, but no, it does sound quite interesting. So I guess some of the quick news out the way next.
Yeah.
We've got a decent list this week, haven't we? It's been a busy
know.
week.
It has been a busy week.
For me, I think one of the funniest things I saw in regards to the quick news was the fact that Microsoft are actually up for an award for the best use of a meme after the leak for the Series S.
Yes, I remember you sending me this, Phil, and it was
Brilliant meme.
So
Brilliant.
after the Xbox Series S being leaked, mostly by Microsoft themselves, with new Xbox controllers having specific mention of it, Microsoft's response was nothing except that very shifty looking monkey, which unfortunately on a podcast is, if you haven't seen the meme, you won't really get it, but it will be in the show notes.
Yeah.
And it was quite a novel way to kind of acknowledge
Social
that
media marketing at its best.
exactly without saying anything, with just this one image, they managed to
It really opened up a lot.
yeah, they managed to take control of the conversation about the leak of the Series S and also kind of acknowledge, yeah, it is true without saying, yeah, it is
On
true.
top of all that, it literally went viral.
Yes, it did.
Absolutely.
So
Well, we shared it and we just had a massive laugh about it, and that's a
precisely,
lot of people would have done. They would have
Yeah.
seen that, laughed about it, and been like, "Oh my days!" And then it just got shared and shared and shared.
yeah. So as I say, quick news. We've got a DIY N64 console coming.
Yes. Now the console is literally, I don't know, a fraction of a bit bigger than the actual cartridge itself.
So
Okay.
someone with not using emulation, this is using an original Nintendo 64 hardware, cut down the motherboard and shrunk it down to, as you say, a console that is maybe 1.5 times as big as an actual N64 cartridge for the entire console.
I can believe it, especially if you think of the power of phones.
So it's kind of, do you know what? When I saw it, it reminded me of a Game Boy Advance.
But yeah, but this isn't using power phones. This is using original Nintendo 64 parts. The original motherboard. He has cut it, joined the traces up with cables, made a little daughter board as well for the analog stick, replaced it with I think it's a PlayStation Vita analog stick.
Yeah.
Just because it's a few millimeters smaller than the GameCube style ones they typically use in these mods. And it looks good.
It does.
You know, considering it's a hack to pieces N64, it works and it looks good. And it's got a screen and a rechargeable battery in it.
That's got to have taken some skill.
Oh, absolutely. It's not something I would be able to do.
I think it's something that not a lot of people could do.
No.
Yeah.
But apparently it's a badge of honor trying to get these consoles as small as possible.
No, I saw it and I thought it was pretty cool.
So we've got a bunch of Resident Evil news as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
I suppose the main one is Resident Evil The Village is coming to Stadia. And if you pre-order the game, they're giving you the Premier Edition of Stadia, which includes controller, Chromecast, and I believe a month of Stadia Pro for free.
I thought Stadia was dying.
Exactly, just the thing you want when Google have said, yeah, we're cancelling and changing Stadia.
Well, they haven't said they're cancelling Stadia, but it's on rocky ground, really, isn't it? We were talking about this a few weeks ago.
It's a dying console.
Yeah.
Would you want to be paying $60 for a game that's on Stadia? You know, especially...
No.
At this time where the future Stadia is very uncertain.
It's not very uncertain, but it is. It's a bit cloudy, to say the least.
It's not. It's not something I'd risk.
The thing is, though, not only is The Village coming, but also Resident Evil 7 as well is coming to Stadia.
Yeah, and that's going to be free for Stadia Pro users. But then again, is that still on Game Pass?
Yes, I think it is actually.
On the face of it, you know, it looks good that it's on Stadia Pro, but I think I'd be more inclined to go with like Game Pass, get a lot more games.
You've got to wonder where Capcom are putting the chips, if you will.
Well, I think they're spreading them around, which, you know, fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, is it costing
essentially Stadia is just PC games. If they're making it for Steam, then they're 99% of the way to getting it ready for Stadia.
Well, is Capcom paying for it to go on Stadia, or is Stadia paying for them to go
I would imagine that no one's paying anyone for it. It's when it's sold on Stadia, I would imagine just like Android Store, Google will be taking 30% cut out of the price. That's how I imagine it would be working.
So it's one of those where they lose nothing if it goes on there as such.
Capcom, it's win-win, really. You know, they can put it on for very little extra development time, get it on an extra storefront, and get some sales out of it.
It's true.
And in this case, I would imagine it's Google that's advertising it for them with the Premier Edition bundle. But I think it's bundles like that. They should have been doing this last year.
Yeah, they definitely should have been a more of a push when Stadia was trying to make ground rather than...
They done a similar bundle last year with Cyberpunk, but they should have been bringing big games every month and doing this, you know, pre-order it.
It does feel a little too late sort of thing.
Yeah.
So there's also a beta for Resident Evil Reverse on April 8th.
I couldn't care less.
I mean, the reason it's in there because it's a game, but it doesn't look fun.
So moving on from that.
Well, no, let's just stick with that for a moment. As When I first saw it, and you saw, is it Leon and Claire? I think it is.
Yeah, it looked like humans versus the zombies.
Yeah, I thought, oh, sweet, Left 4 Dead in the Resident Evil universe. This looks amazing. But then it looks like it's an arena shooter. I don't know if it definitely is.
Well, you just saw them hacking each other up.
Yeah, why?
Because arena shooters are in at the minute.
Well, it was one of those where, so when when they
Why
go
Resident
in,
Evil?
when a zombie kills a human then turns to a zombie. But if a human kills a human, they stay human when they come back alive. And it was very messy, but then it was very close quarters, and it didn't appeal at all to me.
It's not the first time that a company has tried to shoehorn an IP into a genre it just doesn't really fit. I mean, Metal Gear Survive,
No.
anyone?
I was literally about to bring that one game up.
Not played it.
Oh, you're not missing
Yeah.
anything.
Hey, I
at all.
know that well-known stealth game series. Let's make it a survival thingy type game, battle royale type game.
That's very well worded, Phil.
That's precisely how much of a mess Metal Gear Survive is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's rubbish. You spend most of the time just stabbing zombies with pointy sticks. Actually, that even makes it sound more exciting than it actually is.
So yes, we're
Now,
not excited for Reverse.
Well, Resident
No.
Evil have previously made games where you are a survivor in Raccoon City trying to escape, and I think there was one on the PlayStation 2 that was even playable online. A new game like that would be fantastic.
You even had, I think it was Resident Evil 5, had like a multiplayer mercenaries mode that was pretty decent.
No, Resident Evil 5, the entire story was.
Oh no, I just mean particularly the online multiplayer
right,
part. Obviously the co-op through the campaign, which was fantastic. But just it was a little team v team mercenary shooter, and it was okay.
Well, is it Resident Evil Revelations? Weren't they multiplayer?
I think they were, yeah.
I'm actually just trying to find Outbreak. I think that was them. Resident Evil Outbreak.
Yeah, I don't think I played much of them, if at all.
I don't think I've played any of them. I'm just aware they exist. So in them, I think you could pick a character, and each character was like there was a fireman who might have an axe that could break certain doors, or a small character that could fit through tight corridors or through grates, and you had to work together. A game like that, I think, would be brilliant on modern consoles.
That sort of thing
Something a bit different. Chuck tank controls in there. 10 out of 10 game of the year.
No, please, let's just not bring tank controls back ever.
Now, sticking on with the zombie theme, we've also got Stubbs the Zombie coming on to Xbox One, PS4, and the Switch.
I've never played it, so it's not one I know a great deal about.
It's an okay game. Have you ever played what's that game that's like basically Mars Attack? Destroy All Humans?
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
You're not a million miles away with that game. You're a zombie, shambling about and basically bite other people, infect them, recruit them to the horde of undead. So what you might want to do is say you want to take on like a police headquarters. They'll just absolutely rip you apart. So two ways you could go around it. You could detach your hand, throw it, which latches onto the head, and take control of one of them and turn on his fellow survivors, or just recruit everyone else in the town. You know, just absolutely roll over them with sheer numbers. It's a fun little game. Surprising it's coming back, to be honest. It was an exclusive to the original Xbox, and probably a game that's pretty much been forgotten to time.
Thing is, though, bringing back some forgotten to time games, not the most terrible of ideas, even if it's to reimagine them.
Do you mean reimagine as in like make a new game or like reboot the series?
Yeah, reboot the series, modernize it a bit as well. Like
But
Tomb Raider.
Not be rebooting it though at all.
Little Tomb Raider is a good example of that done right. You take an old beloved IP, reboot it, but do it justice.
Yeah, so you took a Tomb Raider from, a slow exploration-based game to basically a murder simulator.
Yeah.
What, where you creep around on an island just killing all the islanders and...
No, where you see how many things you can impale Lara Croft onto, basically. or at least that was my experience trying to play the game.
You're talking about the original Tomb Raiders now, right?
No, the reboot.
Right, okay, because you did that in the original as well.
Oh, no, that. You climb to the highest point and then do a dive and just snap a neck.
No, we all know what we truly did. We locked
blew
that poor butler in the freezer.
Well, yeah, him shambling after you going, he deserved it. Do you know what? The more I think about my childhood playing games, the more I think I should have gone to therapy.
Probably right.
It makes me question your childhood, if I'm honest.
I'm pretty sure there's something to do with the turkey that's responsible for that.
Yes. Not for the podcast, though.
Yeah, let's move on from there. So, ID Xbox.
Yeah, so we've got
tomorrow.
an ID Xbox event tomorrow. We don't have a clue what's on it. We don't know why we even put it in the quick news because we've got nothing to talk about until next week.
And next week we're going to be talking about Zelda.
Yeah, ID Xbox. It's usually ID Xbox. It's independent developers. It's almost always a good place to see retro and retro-inspired games, so definitely up our alley.
Yes.
And tonight we've also got the Gaming BAFTAs, was you saying?
Yes, yeah, the Game of BAFTAs is on tonight. So, again, that'll be something that we'll be keeping an eye on. And, again, we'll be touching base on a little bit on our next podcast, just so we see what's coming up and see what games have stolen the spotlight, I guess, this year.
Well, last bit for our quick news. It's our obligatory warning that Mario 3D All-Stars will be taken off of shelves 31st of March. So buy the game if you haven't, and I might still buy the game and watch. I don't know.
Just count it down. You need to put some sort of warning sirens around that just before you.
Do you know what? I should have. Let me just double check. It was £35 on Amazon when I checked yesterday.
Have you actually purchased the Game and Watch things yet? Because I know you've been on and on about it.
No, that's what I'm on about. I haven't actually got it yet.
Did you not hear him go? And I might still get the Game and Watch.
I'll be honest. I was very quickly just reading the notes for what we're talking about next.
Why would you need to read them now? Surely you came into this prepared.
Absolutely, it's just
Oh yeah, $34.99 it is.
Oh, look at that! He's clicking the buy button. Book.
You've got less than a week left.
Just do it. We know you're going to do it.
I don't know. As I say, I'm not really a massive Mario fan. Now, if it was a Sonic Game and Watch,
you probably would have already bought it like the day the game available. You would have pre-ordered it.
Yeah, of course, straight away.
Of course I would have. And for anyone who's, just while I'm thinking about Sonic, for anyone who is curious, I still haven't got my Scott Pilgrim limited edition, so hurry up, limited run.
Well, speaking of limited run games, aren't they the guys in charge of the next thing we were going to talk about?
They are the Astro City Mini. So this is a little tiny version of the Astro City Arcade.
It's like a desktop version.
Yes.
So how long until it appears in your office?
What, at work?
Yeah.
Never going to happen. We couldn't trust some people in there. You really think they would
Anthony.
Jog on.
And what do you mean? Do you imply that we just sit around playing Genshin Impact on at work?
I never even mentioned Genshin Impact. So
I thought you did. Oh, okay, that my mistake then. That'd never happen, would it, Anthony?
Never, not at all. Hang on, wait, it never has done.
I think you find it has.
only on a lunch.
So, arcade mini machines. These look pretty cool.
They do. And the big thing for these is a decent selection of games.
Yeah.
37 games on it.
I was looking at... I think some of the ones that really stood out for me was like Golden Axe is on there, isn't it?
Yes, Golden Axe, Revenge of Death Adder. That's probably like the marquee game for the system.
Yeah,
never come home before. This is the first time.
That'll be a big one. But even just having some of the arcade classics, like did I see not Space Harrier? I literally should have looked at the list.
Yeah, possibly.
No, I haven't. No, I've looked at the list. I mean, I should have looked at the list while I was looking at stuff.
On there.
I thought it was, because I was looking at
Virtua Fighter, the original Virtua Fighter.
They're all very
boy games.
They're all very. Obviously, it's an arcade machine, but they're very good arcade picks.
Yes.
Well, it's the Sega arcade games, of course, they're good arcade picks.
Well, yeah. I'm just saying they've not put any weird, oddball Sega games on there.
Yeah, but they put some filler. Like, do you really need columns and columns too?
No, God, no. But they always put filler on these things just so they can say, yeah, we've got X amount of games.
Yeah. Some of the games, got got Wonder Boy and Monster Land, Wonder Boy Monster Lair, the shooter one.
I remember
You got
enjoying that one.
Shinobi. Let's
You
have a
got
look.
Shadow Dancer as well.
Puyo Puyo, Shadow Dancer. Never played the arcade version of that, only the Mega Drive.
Is
Now,
it?
the thing
Is it
is, though,
very
with
different?
Yeah, I think the Mega Drive version is more like it's probably closer to Revenge of Shinobi.
Right. I
So
have
they
completed
did
Shadow
change
Dancer
it.
on the Mega Drive. I enjoyed it on the Mega Drive.
Yeah, both of them. You've got your little dog that you can send off.
No, I remember reading that quite a lot of the games are still untranslated. Some parts of it, at least. All the games are completely playable still, but there is some of them where there is some menus and there is some text which is still Japanese.
Yeah, some of them's a bit of an odd choice for some of the ones that aren't translated because there are English versions of them available. I think I've got a feeling that limited run games have literally just taken the Japanese console and are just reselling it onto North America. Because some of the games that haven't got any English translations is Golden Axe, Revenge of Death Adder, Gain Ground, Shadow Dancer. Shadow Dancer definitely had an English translation. Cotton, I'm sure that did as well. Whereas a lot of the other games had probably were in English in Japan, just because it would have been simple text like press start or number of lives.
Yeah, I think a lot of games did that in Japan, didn't they? Just so that they could export them as well quite easily.
Yeah. And I think it's a bit more universal that way as well. Like, I think most gamers in Japan probably would have understood press start.
Yeah. So there was I noticed as well. There's a few accessories for the Mini as well, isn't there?
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a gamepad. I think that's $27 if I remember right. Let me have a quick peek.
Yeah, $27.99 for the gamepad.
Yeah.
But then you've also got a mini style kit, which looks like a stand.
It is. It's basically a box to put it on and a tiny scale stool.
So your wrists for the stool.
I don't even think your wrists to fit on that stool, to be honest. I think it's more to make it like a display piece. Like the Mega Drive Mini, you could buy the Tower of Power for it, which was a plastic Mega CD that attached to the bottom, a Sonic and Knuckles cartridge, and then I think it was like a Sonic 2 cartridge that went in top of that. They did nothing. It was entirely cosmetic, but just made it look cool on your desk.
Yeah.
Why not?
Well, yeah. No reason why not.
Now, obviously, with it being from limited run games, there is only a limited amount of them coming out, isn't there?
Yes, I believe it's 3,500.
Yeah, and if you listen to this podcast on Monday, well, you're 3 days late of it being live because it goes live Friday morning.
Yes. What I will say is to anyone who is interested in getting one of these, if they are sold out though, they are still readily available from Amazon Japan, which is where they're exclusively sold. So you can always purchase one on there, get it imported over. The price is roughly $130, but obviously on top of that, you might have import fees. So it will work out a little bit more expensive, but not massively.
Well, it's limited run games running them, so there is obviously going to be a limit to them, as they say.
Yes.
In all fairness, I did just notice also that it's got a HDMI out port, so you can connect it to your TV or
yes,
another screen.
I think it'd be a bit hard doing a 2-player Virtua Fighter match, both like huddled around this little tiny screen. Although in all fairness, the screen's bigger than the Game Gear Mini or Micro. You know, it's not that lovely 1-inch screen. Last piece of news. Could Sony be closing down the legacy PlayStation stores? So for the PlayStation 3, PlayStation Portable, and PlayStation Vita.
I mean, I'm partly surprised they've not closed the Vita already, because that console just... Well, saying that, it did all right in Japan, didn't it?
Yeah, it did all right in Japan. Games were still getting released until last year. I wouldn't be surprised if there were still games coming this year.
So
Everyone loves the Vita except Sony. They
Would
just
it
kicked
be?
it out to die, it seemed.
It'd be a surprise for them if literally games have been releasing as recently as then for them to close off the services now.
Yeah, and don't forget the Vita out those free consoles is the most current.
Yeah,
It was it was advertised as an accessory for the PlayStation 4.
yeah.
Right.
Well, it's a funny old thing, this one, because Microsoft seem to be going in the opposite direction, where they are actively trying to revive their older console content and actually bring more of it to the market.
Well, that's coming along the lines of the boss of Sony doesn't like retro gaming. That's what it was. Barry told me this. That hasn't he openly said that he doesn't see the point of playing retro games on newer consoles. That's not the point of them.
Yeah, I believe this was Jim Ryan who came out and said he doesn't understand why someone would want to say play Gran Turismo 1 when you can get it on the PlayStation 4. At the time it was PlayStation 4 version, because it is a better game in every way, and he doesn't really think that Sony's old back catalogue has much of a place.
Surely
It,
that's down to nostalgia. A lot of reason people play older games is nostalgia, and they want to relive playing it.
well,
Why take
Exactly.
it away?
not even that. I mean, if you look at the amount of retro-inspired games that are coming around now as well,
Yeah.
there is real demand for older styles of games, not just the new and the shiny. Don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of the new and the shiny. I like the new and the shiny. Though there is absolutely a time and a place for older styles and older games.
Well, not only that, one of the big concerns is like this is only rumor. However, there is some concrete dates which make people think that it's some information that has actually been leaked rather than just an outright rumor.
Hmm.
The problem is, if these stores go down, these stores contain a lot of PlayStation 1 games as well. And some of the big ones on there is Mega Man Legends. You can get it for like, I think it's £6 or £7 on the PlayStation stores. If I go and buy one off Amazon, I'm paying probably a couple £100.
Yeah, it's not a cheap game, Mega Man Legends, is it?
And it isn't just that. Suikoden 2, that's on there again. It's a sub £10 game.
Jeez.
I'm sure that's another game that goes for £250.
Oh god, I
I
had a
mean,
copy of that.
one of the other reasons why people might want to play retro inspired games is because maybe then seeing the newer games coming out and they're just not taking a liking to it, so they want to go a bit
Not
The
more.
only
problem
that,
with newer games is they tend to run quite closely to a formula that sells.
Yes.
especially if it's made by Ubisoft.
Well, god, yeah. So older games didn't. They were built with a bit of love behind them. It's harsh to say, but sometimes, yeah, it's true. EA, when they released games back on the Mega Drive and that, they still had a bit of love to them.
Yeah, not the Immortal though.
No, not the Immortal. That can just go and die in a
That
fire.
was more hatred for people and love
Yeah.
for a game.
But you know my point. So people play older games partly because of fond memories and partly because they were really good.
Yes.
Not only that, as you say, like new games, they've got like a formula down. Open world, lots of collectibles, lots of objectives,
Bit of beige.
DLC. Yeah, beige. I think especially around the PlayStation era, so the 32-bit era, that was going into uncharted territory with 3D games and having mass storage on CDs. I think there was a lot more creativity because I think a lot of companies were just literally throwing it at the wall and just seeing what sticks.
Yeah.
They were seeing what they could create.
Exactly. Well, what we've got all this new power. What can we do with it? Hence,
Exactly.
games like Tomb Raider appeared.
And
Yeah.
this era now is just gone to, we've done it. Let's just see what we can sell.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's
What
buying
else
Battle
can you do a
Royales
gritty
games.
reboot of?
Yeah.
I was going to say Sonic the Hedgehog, but they already kind of done that with Shadow.
And the Were Hedgehog thing.
That was quite light-hearted, unlike Sonic 06, where they actually kill Sonic.
Spoilers? Not that I'm
Are
ever
you
going to
going to
play
play
it.
it?
God, no. I have
man.
seen just how terrible that game is.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you showed me one particular boss battle against Silver, I think it is.
Oh God, yeah. Where he just keeps catching you repeatedly, but he can throw you against the wall, and you'll keep collecting the same ring over and over again. So he'll never actually kill you, but he's basically stun locked you. And unlike old Sonic games where there was a 10-minute time limit and then, you lost a life, you couldn't even wait out the time limit because there is no time limit.
So in other words, Shadow literally kills your will to live.
That was particularly Silver, that one.
Sorry, I meant Silver.
Yeah, not only that, going back to the PlayStation stores, having these old stores, it's a way for people to experience games that they never got a chance to first time round. Like, for example, I've never owned a PlayStation console while it's been current.
Just think, they can remaster them all.
But they're not, though. They're
No,
not going to remaster Mega Man Legends, for example. They can't even bring out the sequel to that.
No, because there was
Apparently it was the
licensing issues, wasn't there?
No, apparently it was the fans' fault. So they were doing Mega Man Legends 3 on the 3DS, which was a massive reason why I purchased the 3DS.
Oh.
And they had this website, fans could put input. They could even design characters to go into the game, bosses and that. And had loads of interest in it. And Capcom just scrapped it and went, oh, it's fans' fault. They didn't want it.
Didn't they do something? Was it Mega Man Legends 3? Because I thought they did something similar with just a bog standard Mega Man as well, where fans were clamoring for it.
They killed all Mega Man games because there was one called, I think it was called something like Mega Man Infinite or something, which was going to be all the Mega Man characters, and I think you created your own levels and you played them online, and they just killed that outright.
But I mean, don't worry, the original Mega Man creator had our back and released a game to savour us all and to be able to relive the Mega Man days of old.
I know we only mentioned it last week, but it's quite a sore subject that manual still does not fit in that bloody box. But yeah, I don't know. I would imagine this is less of a vindictive, like, I hate retro games, let's get rid of retro games. And more, we can save a few quid here, let's just get rid of it.
It does. It screams corporate. It screams, we don't have to keep this going. It's just costing us money. Why bother? Whereas Microsoft, this is the difference of a company or a gaming division that is run by a gamer who loves games compared to a gaming division that is run by a business person. It is almost like coming out and saying, what, you don't want a console that's online? We have a product for that.
Yeah. Or previous gen console. And if you do want a new console with TV,
TV, television,
sports,
Call of Duty.
That probably doesn't make any sense to most people. So, I don't know. Maybe this is me being cynical, but could Sony perhaps be bringing backwards compatibility to the PlayStation 5?
I
doubt it. They only seem to shoehorn in the current backwards compatibility just because of Microsoft doing so blinking well with it.
Yeah.
Barry, do you really believe they would bring it?
If there was money to be made, I'm pretty certain they would. And that's not like that's not like a go at Sony or anything. Any company would be mad if it was relatively easy to do and could bring a profit. Why not?
But Microsoft is showing that you can.
Yeah.
Well,
what game is it that you were playing that I picked up as well?
You're going to have to give me more
EDF.
than that.
I was going to say,
EDF. Do you know what? I was actually going to say EDF.
Were you? Defense Force. You two were playing. I missed it when it went free for Games of Gold, but I purchased it. And how many hours
didn't you purchase it? Then it went on Games for Gold.
It never went on Games of Gold.
It did?
No, it didn't.
2025 did.
I didn't get it, and then I had to purchase it afterwards. And
it wasn't. I think it was Insect Armageddon 2025. I was playing Barry's copy.
Yeah, I actually purchased it before. I think it did go on Games for Gold.
No, it didn't, because if I wanted to play it now, I couldn't, because obviously it's set up on my son's Xbox.
Yeah, but did you actually get it at the time? Don't forget,
you need to have downloaded it. It's a 360 Games with Gold.
I've not missed. I have not missed any games with Gold. Well, that's a bit of a bold claim. I might have missed one or two, but I've missed very, very few.
Yeah, that was a 360 game, which I never played the 360, which I picked up. And how many hours did we spend on that game?
Too many. I still play it. I think last time I played it was only about a week or two ago.
I was going to
Oh,
say,
really?
so I saw you on it just the other day, and I'm pretty sure I went to jump on with you and realised that I can't load it.
Barry's now looking to see if it was in Games of Gold.
I don't think
Yes,
it was.
September the 1st, 2019.
Yep.
Earth Defense Force 2025.
I must have missed it. What? Oh, I must have missed it then.
Yeah, because I'm pretty certain that Anthony purchased it. Yeah, because Insect Armageddon was in May 2019.
Right.
Oh, actually, Insect Armageddon was May 2019. Then EDF 2017 was in June 2019, and then Earth Defense Force 2025 was in September 2019. So all of them were in the same year.
And yeah,
on
I
Games with
bought
Gold.
it the month after it went out, and I was annoyed because I didn't realise you played it.
and Microsoft still don't have Iron Rain, is it, or EDF 5?
Oh yeah, they haven't got EDF 5 or the other side one.
But that's a prime
I think it is
example
Iron
for
Rain.
a retro game. Oh, sorry, an older game from the store that I purchased. And I'm sure we spent over 150 hours on that game easy.
Castlevania Symphony of the Night, you bought that just the other week? Or was it
Yeah.
a month?
Yeah,
Brilliant game. I found a randomizer mod, and brilliant.
That does sound
found
interesting. Does it?
a
I take it
randomizer
the map is the same and it just randomizes the
Yeah, so
placement
it's-
of items.
It's the same map and everything. You play through it in the exact same way. It doesn't change the core game, but it changes. You can choose either safe, so that it's guaranteed completable, or totally random, and it just puts the items anywhere and everywhere.
Right.
The one I've done to mine is to a safe, so I can still complete it. But I think where you normally get the item that lets you get items out of candles and everything, I got a familiar.
All right.
So I didn't. I still don't get items out of candles, and I'm in the second half of the game.
Right.
But I got double jump stupidly early. It's revitalized it a bit up until the point where I got the most powerful sword off one of the really early enemies.
Yeah, see, well, games like that, Castlevania, if you've got a PlayStation 3 or a Vita still, you may no longer be able to purchase them. It is still a rumor, but if they take the stores offline, will you be able to re-download these titles? Because I know with the Nintendo ones, you can't.
You can't even play the games you purchased either, can you?
You'd hope you'd be
Yeah.
able to play them.
My Switch, I need to be connected to the internet to play the games because it's not classed as my primary Switch. So if Nintendo took the eShop down off the Nintendo Switch, or not if, when, because let's face it, they are going to do it in the next decade, I reckon. I won't be able to play digitally downloaded games on my Switch. That's why I buy all my Switch games physically.
See, this is the big thing that I like about Microsoft in their digital storefront, and why I buy my Microsoft games digitally. Well, when I buy them, because Game Pass pretty much covers everything I want to buy now.
Yeah.
It's even stuff that was from the original Xbox is still up and available and downloadable to buy, and they were never on the original Xbox.
I was
that
going
way.
to say, admittedly, those titles only came around on the Xbox One era. But
They did, yeah.
the first Xbox Live Arcade games I purchased, as long as they were on backwards compatible, I can play on my Xbox Series X, or I can go and drag my Xbox 360 out the loft and download those games again and play
Well,
them.
I've got Explosion Man on 360. I can still play that on the Xbox One S.
Yeah, it's that commitment to keeping the older catalogs available and running. I think the last generation, Microsoft lost the sales race, but they certainly won the hearts and minds race.
Yeah, we've said that before. The difference between Microsoft in 2013 to Microsoft this year or last year, you wouldn't even believe they're the same company.
Telling you, we'll all have pictures in our houses soon of Phil Spencer with some sort of halo, just sort of on some sort of shrine somewhere.
Yeah, move over, Gabe.
Hey, I know it's not on the podcast, but have you heard there's potential rumours going around Half-Life 3?
Yes,
Really?
yes, I did.
Let me guess, it's coming out alongside Left 4 Dead 3 as well.
No, genuinely, because of how well Ajax did, there is rumours that they're doing another Half-Life. They've got a bit of a taste
Hijack
for
Or
it.
something like that.
Or not hijack. How is it you say it? The VR game.
Alex.
Yeah, that.
How do you,
Okay.
how do you hijack from Alex?
Because
Oh, yeah.
I knew it was
I
something
think
like
he got Ajax because he needs to go for an eye test.
that. Probably. I've got my reasons for being slightly out of it, which you do know. So
Yeah, he was dropped on his head as a child
there is that.
repeatedly.
I mean, that's a first statement. Yeah.
Explains a lot.
Well, and even when you weren't dropped on your head, you back flipped off something high and probably done yourself some damage there.
Probably, yeah.
But I think we made it through. We've done all our news for today, so you're looking forward to finishing off Zelda for next week.
I am. I'm working through it.
Phil is just giving me this blank, vacant, glossed over look.
All I'm going to say is thrilled.
Phil, this is a beloved classic of the Super Nintendo. You do realize you have to like it. It's the lore, apparently.
I will share my feelings on the game when we discuss it next week.
Or be giving our thoughts, which I'm sure will be glowing. So, once again, thanks for listening, and this has been the Retro Gaming Dads podcast.
Don't forget, if you like what you've been listening to, please support us by visiting www.retrogamingdads.co.uk.